How many of you know who this guy is? I'm gonna throw the Jeopardy music on, give you a hot sec. Okay, so how many of you guessed Rian Johnson? I'm gonna guess at least half. He's a director who's been around for a while now, but seeing as many people don't know directors, half is actually pretty good. In 2017, he made a catastrophic failure that was supposed to be his big break. Now he is at the helm of a very successful franchise with devoted fans, myself included. So how'd he get there? Well, let's go back. His career as a feature film director started in 2005 when this did. Wait, not gonna reuse jokes. When he made Brick. His second feature film, The Brothers Bloom, would be 3 years later in 2008. And Dick Van Dyke is still somehow alive. I mean, that's gonna be a trend, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the Dick Van Dyke counter up in the corner, and every time, every time I mention Dick Van Dyke, we're gonna just add a little Dick Van Dyke up there, alright? That'll make it 4, including last episode. That's a lot already. Moving on. He'd get 2 episodes of Breaking Bad under his belt until his first massive success finally hit. That would be Looper. I'm not going to go too in-depth here because I have a video planned at some point in the future about time travel movies, and that's going to be fun. Don't even worry about it. And Looper's going to be a part of that. But it is an important milestone in Johnson's career, so I have to mention it. Sony gave him a chance on a $30 million budget, which, for non-movie nerds, isn't actually even all that much, man. A compelling story and stellar cast, Looper would rake in about $176.5 million worldwide by the end of its theatrical run. For you non-movie nerds out there, that's what we call a fucking shitload, dude. Now with the massive commercial success of a high-concept sci-fi thriller, it's time to move on to the elephant in the room. Fucking Ozymandias, this dude made over $100 million and celebrated by making one of the highest-rated episodes in television of all time. What was he smoking? Answer, maybe crack? The success of mainly Looper would open the door to his biggest film yet, a Star Wars. Star Wars The Last Jedi would be the middle installment of the sequel trilogy of movies, sandwiched between 2 J.J. Abrams movies. This was Johnson's big chance to gain massive notoriety. Now, I'm sure you hear the but coming, and if you've seen the movie, you know, this didn't really work out the way he would have hoped. Let's cut to the chase. The movie's it's not particularly good, but it's not offensively bad, boring, slow, poorly paced. These are all phrases that have been used to describe this movie, and none of them are really wrong. Normally, the second film of a trilogy being slow and lore-driven isn't really a bad thing. It's sort of the build-up in a trilogy, but there's one teensy little problem that Johnson forgot. This was a Star Wars movie. A Star Wars. That meant Star Wars fans. Even the smallest mistakes would be blown out of proportion, and fans would be calling for his head, even if the movie was a masterpiece. And as I said earlier, it was no masterpiece. So here he is, at what should be one of the best moments of his career, now being dragged by fanboys and the like for making a movie that simply wasn't good enough. It's important to remember the people who make movies are human too, with feelings and shit. Seeing your creation, at the height of your career, be dragged through the mud because, well, it was boring, can really fuck you up. Johnson stood strong, though. Didn't really let it get to him. He believed that what he made was good, and for him, that was enough. Honestly, fair. Good on him. Unfortunately, the way he has worded this has been taken out of context more than once, making him look like some stuck-up asshole who doesn't care about the audience. Now, that's not true, but he's already pissed off half the fan base, and the angry half aren't going to let him say something without picking apart every word. So now here we are, his 4th movie, having pissed off hundreds of thousands. His next movie could make or break his career. 1 bad movie is rough. 2 in a row could get someone blacklisted. Unless you're Uwe Boll, for some fucking reason. What is up with this guy? So, what should he do? He could give up, but he loves what he does too much to ever do that. Well, he could just go back to making another sci-fi movie. 1 for 2, bad and 500 ain't bad. But that would be boring. He isn't one to shy away from a challenge. He's ready to try something new. Go big or go home. So that just leaves trying out a new genre. Now another question. What genre? As I'm hoping you can tell now, Rian Johnson is one to swing for the fences, so he decided he would revive a practically dead genre for his next film. Because of course he would. He was going to try to bring back the whodunit. Knives Out, 2019 whodunit. Dares to ask the question, what if you make the mystery so painfully fucking obvious? that the audience just doesn't believe it? Full disclosure, I've seen this movie many times and love it to death, but the first time I saw it, I just could not believe that it was Ransom, because, I mean, that's too obvious, right? Don't know if that's everyone's experience, but that was mine. Now some quick background. Truthfully, Johnson did have a basic idea for Knives Out before The Last Jedi, but production didn't start until after The Last Jedi dropped. Lionsgate gave the movie a $40 million budget. We're just going to have to stop real quick, by the way. Quick tangent. We'll be done real quick, promise. Lionsgate just went on one of the worst 3-movie runs of all time. You've just got to acknowledge it. They made The Crow for $50 million, Borderlands for $115 million, and Megalopolis for $100 million. In contrast, The Crow made back $22 million worldwide, Borderlands made $32, and while Megalopolis has not officially dropped yet, I'm just going to go ahead with early reviews and give a generous estimate of $60 million. Now, for those of you who are good at math, you would know that means they spent an estimated $265 million to make an estimated $114 million. That is impressive. Bravo, Lionsgate. We enjoyed you while you were around, but you are fucked. Where was I? Budget. Yeah. On the $40 million budget, Knives Out made about $313 million worldwide theatrically. Now that is a fucking accomplishment. The ratings reflect that profit pretty well. Rian Johnson made a damn good movie. With that success, he has basically cemented his career as one of the best directors currently working. Netflix handed him $469 million to turn Knives Out into a franchise, proving a second and third film following the exploits of the delightful Benoit Blanc. Given the assumed success of the sequel, Glass Onion, curse you, Netflix, and the current interest in the upcoming Wake Up Dead Man, there'll likely be more sequels approved in the future. We know Johnson and Daniel Craig have both said they're up for more. Johnson went from a potential train wreck waiting to happen to the creative head of basically a genre now. Now that's all very cool, and I know I'm at least glad it happened, but why? What made Knives Out so good that a guy walking the tightrope would basically be given free reign, besides shitty Netflix management? I'm gonna have to say 3 things. A perfect ensemble cast, an incredible script, and a compelling mystery. I know, I'm a modern-day Sherlock. Holy shit, do you see what I just did there? I didn't even see that. Go me, man! Let's start easy. Good actors typically give good performances. Not always, but typically. Knives Out has some fucking fantastic performances. What makes them stand out is how original the characters are, though. First off, not to get political or anything, but rich people fucking suck. Most of the cast of this movie play rich people, and they fucking suck. The funny way, though. Each member of the family falls into a different stereotype of rich people, which, right off the bat, helps make them feel different from each other. Ransom is the spoiled baby who's never had a job, Meg is the fake political liberal arts major, Walt is the Fredo of the family, and Linda is the one who pretends to be self-built. The movie makes fun of them and their stereotype. It's great. But let's not forget they aren't the main characters. Benoit Blanc, the eccentric lead of the franchise, is a southern gentleman who appears ditzy but is very observant. He falls into my favorite type of detective, the Columbo type. Finally, Marta, the main character, well, she's just a normal person. She has her unusual quirks and the complicated background of having a family who is in America illegally. But the core of her character is that she is just a good, normal person trying to get through this thing with her and her family intact. These different characters help create the perfect environment for a whodunit. When every character is an actual character with their own memorable moments and motives, anyone can be the killer. Now, next is the script. This is a whodunit, but also a comedy. The script delivers in both. The whodunit aspect is simple and best shown in the beginning of the movie with the different character interviews. We see the detectives, oh my gosh, is that Lakeith Stanfield? I love you! And Benoit Blanc trying to get an understanding of the situation. Most of the rich family are easily goaded or tricked into giving away little tidbits of info that are critical to the plot. The script makes dialogue a duel, and Benoit Blanc easily wins most. Now, the comedy of the script is a mix of satire and wit. The movie is making fun of all of these characters and their archetypes while reinventing them in interesting ways. And the jokes are quick and typically clever.
Matter of fact, eat shit.
Many take a moment and give you exactly enough time to get it. The satirical wit combined with the verbal duel creates a script that keeps the audience both engaged in the story and entertained by the comedy. Now, the final section is the mystery. As I said earlier, the mystery got my ass. It makes a pretty clear suspect right off the bat that you immediately suspect, and just keeps making him more and more suspicious. I mean, really, this fucking guy oozes murderer sleazebag energy. It's so much that at a certain point, it feels like it has to be a red herring, right? Casting Captain America as a murderer is a curveball, but mystery audiences are always sitting curveball. But what if they knew we knew they were throwing a curveball? So then when we knew they knew, we knew. Huh? Beyond the murderer, the actual murder itself is very against the curve, being not a murder at all. It's a suicide, done to protect Marta from murder charges, but tragically, not necessary. The mystery of the murder is slowly drip-fed to the audience, and with each new understanding, the more it becomes clear that this is a tragedy. Finally, a good whodunit has lots of red herrings and aspects to throw the audience off the scent of the true culprit, and Knives Out has plenty. Linda's husband is sleeping with some young chick, Walt is being let go by his father, and that one kid is a gooner Nazi or something. Feel like this is something I would usually go on a rant about, but it's like 4 in the morning when I'm writing this, man. Cut me some slack. I mean, there are a lot of different suspects and motives going on at the same time. It helps that the true killer seems like just as much of an impossibility to the audience as Marta does to the characters in the movie for the same reasons. At the end of the day, Knives Out was a success. It had an all-star ensemble cast playing memorable characters, a script with biting wit and intrigue, and a core mystery that keeps the audience guessing right up until the big reveal. A revival of a forgotten genre, and make no mistake, this is all Rian Johnson. He was the writer, the director, he shot the script and around himself. This movie was his baby through and through. He made this movie. He made it a success, and he was ready to get right back to work the minute he was done. Johnson's talent and dedication are what made this movie. And at the end of the day, that's what turned his career around. Alright, fun vid, longer than the last, and thank you if you made it all the way through this. God bless your soul, I don't know why. While I was making this one, the last vid blew up, so thanks. If you like this, like and subscribe. That's what they say, right? Oh, also, cool little thing, I'm doing a poll, letting people decide what video I'll make next. Next video has already been decided, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. To prepare, I will be doing lots of drugs. So, I suggest you too, I guess. But, another poll will go out soon, so go vote. Yay.